I'm going to fast forward. Why did the biter not get totally barred from professional soccer?
Yeah, what was the penalty for Luis Suarez?
Well,
was it 9 games?
He was banned for basically the rest of the World Cup. It's 9. Is it 9 international matches? And then he's banned from 4 months of competition, meaning he can't play for his Liverpool, that's his club team, if they decide not to sell him, and they may sell him to Barcelona. But he can't play for Liverpool. He'll end up missing about 9 of their matches because the EPL starts August 16th.
I didn't go away.
What's that?
I'm still here. I'm just listening to Norm. Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, so I'm saying he misses about 2 months of games with Liverpool, but the strong stories circulating are that Liverpool, because they gave him a chance after he bit Branislav Ivanovic of Chelsea in May of 2013. He received a 10-game ban from the EPL for that. So Liverpool kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. They tried to rehab him. They gave him another chance.
I saw a highlight reel of his bites. This guy's a psychopath. He's a biter.
Yeah, well, this is the 3rd time he's done it in competition.
And he's got caught. This is the 3rd time they got caught. The allegation is that he's done it more than a dozen times.
He probably has.
Maybe he has. But this 3rd suspension will keep him out of Liverpool games. But the rumor is that Liverpool are considering selling him to Barcelona.
But I guess the question is, why wasn't it a more stronger barring? Like, why is he even allowed to return after the 3rd time? Do you think?
Some of it's politics, and keep in mind, if Liverpool can't sell him to another team, it takes he is a gifted striker. He had an incredible year for Liverpool last year in terms of scoring.
I'd like to see his dental bill.
What's that? His dental bill, yeah. Well, but in any case, it's pretty, there's the bite on Ivanovic he got against Chelsea last year. He bit him right on the bicep like he was biting into
but look at the bite he gave the Italian player. It was incredible. It was blatantly, it was an unbelievable blatant bite, and it was bizarre.
I don't think he gets it.
I thought Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look at that bite on Ivanovic.
I don't think he gets it. I think he thinks the bite is the equivalent to, Norm, if Norm and I are playing, and I push Norm, or Norm pushes me. I think Luis Suarez believes a bite is no worse than a push, you know what I mean, or a shove.
Yeah.
That you see all the time in soccer.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think so. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, you might be right, but that's my feeling. I just don't think he gets it.
He's lucky he didn't get a more serious banishment.
I think he should be barred. I think it is the most, after spitting, I think biting is the most despicable act, and I think he should be gone.
Well, if he did it on the street, and especially if he did it 3 times, he'd be serving 6 months to a year in prison.
That's because of the age thing and all kinds of it's just disgusting.
Well, even on the street, if you spit at someone, it's considered an assault. So especially biting for sure would be assault. That's a criminal act.
It is a criminal act because you're trying. If you take a look at in the animal kingdom, a biting means death. You get bit by an animal, they're coming to kill you.
Yeah.
So I think it's a despicable act, and I think he should be. I seriously think he should be barred from professional sport.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
They won't do it.
I'm surprised the penalties. And I was going to say the penalties should be more severe, but maybe it's not because this guy is considered one of the top 20 players in the world. Would you say?
Well,
even if he's the greatest thing since Pele, who cares? This is a despicable act. And you need to set a precedent for all the other people that it is not allowed.
Yeah, well, they won't do it.
He's a repeat offender.
Yeah, they won't do it because he sells tickets, he scores goals, and as soon as his banishment,
we'll go see him to bite.
As soon as his banishment's over, some team's going to sign him up because he can score goals. Very simple.
From professional, and he should have gone down to purgatory, right? And then, if he comes back and he does it again, you need to get rid of this guy. This guy's a huge repeat offender.
Like when he does it again, I can't imagine with the suspension. And I say when, because he's going to do it again.
100%.
And so when he does it again, Norm, what do you do?
Well,
do you go 20
the
games?
only thing they do is move it up by increments, like a year or 2 years.
But it's obviously the message isn't getting through. Like, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he's a big star.
Oh,
yeah,
I'd like to see him banned for life also. I'm just trying to get inside.
No, I understand that.
FIFA's
Oh, and that's tough. That's tough to do to get inside.
And the reality is,
he should be. Listen, it's a rule book. Do we know if there's is that in the rule book of soccer where you can't bite? And if there like in the NHL, there's match penalties. There's criteria of how bad you offend, right, in the rule book.
I don't know if they have biting as such. I think it's just understood. It's a physical assault. It's a.
I think it is the most despicable piece of shit act of anybody could do, even whether it's sports. I really don't give a shit. It is a very despicable act.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some cases, I can't remember the last one, Tony might remember, of hockey players being accused of biting.
Yeah, Burrow's right against Boston in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think they got big suspensions.
No, you're right, they didn't.
So it is despicable, but even in hockey, it's kind of like, okay, well, they give them a couple of games and don't do it again.
Yeah, I'm with you, Frank.
No, he should not be allowed to play in professional sport for at least a year.
I mean, you know what?
He comes back.
It's the third time. It's the third time he's done it, like somebody calling our show more than once. I think what's happening is that you would have thought he would have learned his lesson after the second time, right?
Yeah,
but he didn't.
Yeah.
So he's got to be barred. Like, give him a year ban. Like
100%.
Because the message isn't getting through, and I don't think it will anyway, even if you give him a year ban.
Well,
but you got to show.
There's so many soccer teams, so many leagues all over the world, with owners who got money coming out of their ears from here to Timbuktu.
Right.
Someone, as long as he can score goals, someone more than likely
will forgive him
will
because
always
he can play.
give him another job.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. No, what you're saying makes no fucking sense. He needs some sort of retribution from the league if they're going to take it seriously. I don't give a fuck what you're saying. It makes no sense. You're justifying his actions. There is no justification. His act is animalistic. It's barbaric. It's terrible, and it gives children who are going to be pro soccer players a very bad indication of how the league protects players.
So, by the way, was Mike Tyson allowed to fight after he served time in prison after he bit Holyfield's ear?
Well, he didn't go to prison for biting Holyfield's ear.
No, but I'm saying he was imprisoned over that allegation of rape in Indiana.
But after, there wasn't an allegation of rape. It was proven in court.
Okay, so
he was convicted of rape.
What I'm saying is he was allowed to return to his sport. So if a guy who served
time in prison... What I'm trying to tell you is, you're mixing the two. Mike Tyson's career was at the end when he bit Holyfield's ear. He was finished. And he never recovered from... When he came back out of prison, he was never the same.
Okay.
The same boxer that came out of prison, right?
Yeah, but he was allowed to fight.
But, I think that being charged and found guilty of rape and going to prison changed the dynamics of his career for good.
But he was allowed to fight. That's my point. So you're saying Suarez shouldn't be allowed to play because he bit, but here you got a boxer.
Suarez in front of almost 1 billion people committed a despicable act. He is a repeat offender. Yeah. The allegation is that he's done this dozens of times. He's been caught blatantly. This is third offense or
third
fourth?
Time he's been caught.
3 times he's been caught. Yeah, 3 times.
Been caught. This is his fourth offense, right?
No,
so what I'm saying to you is he should be punished for the crime. I'm not saying for the rest of his life, but he should at least play 1 year in the minors or in a different league as a punishment to show that the league is taking it serious. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're not taking it serious. Yeah. They're not.
Well,
this guy just jumped in the air, came down, and bit the Italian soccer player on the neck, just like a fucking like an animal.
Yeah.
Like, here's my question.
My entire life. So my recommendation to the World Soccer Federation or FIFA is that if they want to teach that this is a barbaric act and it, you can't use your hands, you got to follow the rules. somebody who's been caught 4 times, and the allegation is that he's a career biter, should be punished for a year, not a few games.
It's 3 times.
What kind of message does that send? You can bite. And so the next guy who bites a guy, gives him an infection, he's going to get the same punishment because there's a precedent.
Yeah, but he's the only one who bites.
Punishment.
Nobody else bites, Frank, in soccer.
Pardon me?
He's the only one who's ever been nailed 3 times for biting an opponent. Nobody else that I know of in soccer.
I'm saying if it ever happened in the NHL when one of those players got his finger bit, what was the suspension?
Not much.
Peter.
Not much. The guy who bit a finger wasn't much. Was it a game or 2?
That was about it, a couple games.
Okay. But that was his first, the guy put his glove in the guy's face and he bit his finger.
Yeah.
That was his first offense. I'm sure if it was his fourth offense, the NHL, just to make its point that they do not allow shit like that in their own game, would have made a bigger point. I'm just telling you, in my personal view, in my modest view, the punishment that he got does not represent the stupid, heinous act that he did.
And
my point.
I will say this, and if this guy wasn't a top 10 player in the world, if he was just your average guy,
they would let him go.
Would they have even? They would have got rid of him from the league for a 3rd time?
Yeah, if he was like just an average player guy coming off the bench, they just either cancel
it was his 3rd offense,
just
let's
release
say.
him or whatever, just let him go to
They would have barred him. They would have barred him.
Bought out his contract or whatever.
Not so much the team, the league.
He was the most gifted scorer in the English Premiership last year. So,
but it doesn't matter. Why are you asking Norm? Norm's opinionated that this guy, the league did what they did based on his talent and based on ticket sales. I don't believe they did the proper thing. I think that they miscalculated the punishment based on the act, and he deserves bigger punishment. And I'm surprised that nobody has their hands up in arms, and even the papers are not making a big deal. In fact, this guy, when he went home, they gave him a parade. They gave him a hero's welcome.
Well, in Uruguay, because he's their most important player, but he sure didn't get a kind reception by the English media. They made all kinds of online. Even the Liverpool fans are saying they don't want him around. So in England,
I wouldn't want him around. I wouldn't want him around.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a nice person. I don't give a shit how good he is on the field. I don't think he's you got to be pretty evil to do shit like that.
Well,
you're trying to hurt another human being. It's not sports anymore.
No, it's not. But I mean, you got guys, sometimes who've been allowed multiple offenses in terms of headshots or taking out players' legs.
Hey, listen, a headshot's evil too, but biting, I don't think you can get any more evil than that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. I think it's after spitting, biting really, really makes me crazy, and it's horrendous that FIFA allowed this just to go with a slap on. I think that's a slap on the wrist. I don't think that's a real punishment.
Well,
is he paying any kind of fine?
It's not a slap on the wrist for his club team, Liverpool.
But is he getting paid? Is he paying any fine?
I'm not sure if I think there was there was a fine. I just don't have the amount on the top of my head. But yeah, he was fined.
Was it a substantial fine? You don't have to give me the exact numbers. Did he pay a substantial fine?
It was. Not that he'll ever be poor, but yeah, I think it was a substantial fine. I think it was
more than $20,000. Was it $50,000?
I think it was in the.
Was it some? Can somebody find it on Google right now? What was the financial burden to him for the punishment? And I'm telling you, I saw the bite. I saw him do the bite. I think it was one of the most, absolutely disgusting thing that I've ever seen in sports. And, I'm sure there's been, Mike Tyson, in slow motion, biting. And an ear, to remove an ear, a human ear, it only takes 7 pounds of pressure.
Yeah, so he's banned from competition for 4 months, fined $100,000.
Okay, so the fine is substantial. And 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months. From overseas international soccer.
Pretty decent. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Now, did they give him an ultimatum that if he does it again?
No, they don't give any ultimatum.
Disclaimer in this punishment that if he does it again, he's done like dinner?
No.
Nothing, right?
No, they go on a case-by-case basis. They don't give any ultimatums. If you do it again, you're going to get this, you're going to get that.
Yeah, because we both know, all three of us know, This is a pathological biter, and
He is.
and this is what he does, and I can guarantee it. Just like Tony said, he's gonna do it again.